First 2 years first 2 winters I worked here, it was hardly any.
Yeah.
You know, tough driving. Now it's once a week, at least it seems like.
It'd be tough tonight, I bet.
What's that?
It'd be tough tonight, it would seem.
One thing is though, there's not a lot of traffic. Which, that's bad drivers are worse than bad roads.
Yeah, that's true.
I gotta share your screen. Or your screen.
Ready when you are.
I'm ready. Call the City of Staples City Council meeting to order. Start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome. Mary is joining us, I guess, just to kind of, I better turn my microphone on.
Yeah, I suppose.
There we go. Mary's joining us up on the screen. I don't think she can vote or anything, correct? It's just,
Nope.
just there to observe. And so,
Hello, Mary.
Thanks to whoever signed bills for me today.
Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome.
all right, then we'll start with the approval of tonight's agenda.
So,
Motion by Roy,
Second.
second by John. Discussion. Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Move us to item 3, which is minutes, it's our consent calendar, which is minutes of the previous meeting and payment of bills.
so moved.
Second.
Motion by Roy, second by Ron. Discussion. Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 4 is to consider a second reading and adoption of ordinance 534, amending city code section 109-72-73 and -118.
It's a lot of dashes.
Yep.
So anyway, this is the front door must face the street modification, second reading of the ordinance. Planning and zoning did last week hold a public hearing on that. There were no comments or anybody in attendance regarding that, so the recommendation is for the council to move forward with the second reading and adoption.
Guess I didn't entertain. And a motion by Doug. Is there a second by Roy? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That'll move us to item 5, that is to consider approval of resolution 1866, accepting a donation from Leonard Pat Miller Memorial.
A copy of the resolution in your packet, along with the listing of the individual donors. Some made a donation to, in Pat's memory, to Miller's. Others actually made the payment out to Staples Community Center. So that's why everybody is listed on there. But you can read the resolution, but we want to accept and acknowledge that donation and thank the Miller family and the other donors who decided to support the community center with Pat's Memorial. Park and Rec Board will be at our meeting 2 weeks from now, having some discussion about the use of those dollars. But Pat was a big user of the fitness center.
I'll move resolution 1866. Second.
Okay, motion by Ron, second by Doug. Discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6 is to consider approval of resolution 1867, authorizing application for the 2022 Sourcewell Community Match Funds for Lincoln and Dower Lake Playground projects.
So a copy of the resolution in your packet, as well as the complete application that I put together to Sourcewell. As everybody I think is aware, we have $45,000 in the 2022 budget for Lincoln Park and Dower Lake Park playground equipment. In order to get all the stuff we want, it turns out it's more than $45,000. We're putting an application into Sourcewell for $10,000. The Staples Community Foundation, or Staples Motley Community Foundation, when they did the dive into Dower project, they do have additional dollars left over, and we'll have, even after the sun shades and the sign that they've indicated will go towards the Dower Lake playground equipment project as well. So need council approval and support to submit the application to Sourcewell, and I think we'll find out within a week or so whether we get funded or not, so.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Roy, second by John. Any discussion? Okay, not hearing any, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Along those lines, as long as we're talking about it, and I actually got it today, so we didn't put it on the agenda, but I did submit a request to Lakewood Health System, and I can't remember the program name, but we were awarded $2,000 from Lakewood for the same project.
That's the Engage project.
Engage. Yeah.
Well, great. We'll move on to item 7. That's to consider approval of the 2021 audit engagement letter with Carlson SV.
In your packet, how many pages it is there, is the engagement letter. The majority of it is standard stuff like we do with, had done in the past with Mayor Porter Nelson, but basically outlines what the audit firm will be doing as part of our audit, both the regular portion and then also the single audit portion because of the amount of federal funds and the fact that we're over that threshold. So for 2021, we had the single audit. 22, we'll have the single audit, and maybe 23. We hope not. It's an additional cost and a lot more activity related to the audit. So depends on where we're at on the federal revenue threshold. So dollars, or the budget, we looked at a couple of different firms that submitted proposals. Carlson SV was the selection, so I'd recommend that we approve the engagement letter.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Roy,
Second.
second by John. Discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That'll move us to item 8, and that's to consider approval of a gambling permit for Lakewood Health System Raffle to be conducted on April 29th of this year.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ron, second by John. Discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carried. Item 9 is to consider approval of gambling permit for Sacred Heart Church Bingo on April 10th and November 20th of this year.
So moved.
Motion by Ron,
Second.
second by John. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. That moves us into committee reports. We got a couple. We'll take Park and Rec, and Planning and Zoning. Darrell, are you doing Park and Rec?
I suppose I should really delegate this or ask for volunteers, but we'll go for it. Ron? Park and Rec Board met February 8th, and I gave updates, again on conversations with Staples Motley Schools, Lakewood Health System, sales tax referendum, indicated to the board that we're gonna bring this to LEAP, which meets this Friday, to try to make some determination of whether LEAP wants to play a role in advocating for the support of the community center sales tax referendum. Talked about the Pat Miller memorial donation. Spent quite a bit of time looking at playground equipment. It's like picking out paint colors, which we literally were doing. So for Lincoln and Dower Lake, the board did come up with a selection of the color, kind of that color scheme for the two of them. The installation, you know, you can pay the company to totally come up here and install it. You can try to do it yourself, or kind of the middle ground is what they call a supervised install, where they send representatives from the company up and we round up volunteers and they tell us what to do, we do it, and it gets put together right. So I have reached out to 3M, also Central Lakes College, you know, maybe the Heavy Equipment Club or Student Senate or, you know, folks like that. So the intent would be to do both parks on the same day at the same time. They would send 2 people up with equipment to be able to do it, so. Sunshade, we picked out colors for the sunshade out at the beach as well. Safe routes to school, I guess Melissa's not here. I think we're supposed to find out about that coming here in March, if I recall correctly, but updated the board on where that's at. And again, that would be a 2023 project. John Gorton was wondering about installing a city park with an arrow type sign along Highway 10 to direct people up to NP Park or some other park. So I'll checking with MnDOT on what kind of signs we can put up on Highway 10 and with the sign spacing, whether or not there's a spot that we can do it. There was some discussion, again, John Gorton brought up, he had been contacted about the possibility of planting a memorial tree up in Wilson Park. And I think the Park and Rec Board generally thought that was okay. There should be some guidelines associated with that. You know, we determined where the tree would go, that type of thing. And John had remembered that there had been a memorial tree planted at, we couldn't remember if it was NP or maybe out at Dower Lake or something like that. But if anybody has any idea what that was, there may have been some sort of guidelines developed at that time. But digging through some archives looking for some information on that as well. Bike rodeo will be held on May 12th from 5 to 7 in the community center parking lot. And that was the end of the agenda. So adjourn the meeting at 12 minutes after 6. Happy to answer any questions on that if anybody has them.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir. That'll take us to planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning met last Tuesday, February 15th. Approved the minutes. We did hold the public hearing related to the ordinance which was adopted here this evening. Updated the board on some information on a parcel of property that we had a person interested in buying. But we have identified that we can't sell that until December of 2023 because we got it for public purpose off a tax forfeiture list. 30 years isn't up until December 2023. Also, thank you for appointing 2 new Planning and Zoning Commission members. Here 2 weeks ago, we found out we're going to need another one. Rachel Johnson notified us that she's going to be moving, so we'll no longer be able to serve on the commission. So we will start the process to seek another planning and zoning member. Talked a little bit about annexation. Commissioner Case, brought up that he would like to start looking to annex some additional property for commercial development along the highway. So we're going to talk about that at our next meeting, bring some information on processes and so forth for annexation. And meeting adjourned at 5:41.
Any questions to Darrell or P&Z members? item then to open forum. Anybody want to complain about the weather? No, it's bad. All right, we'll move on to 12 then, city administrator's report.
Just a few items. Last week, we had our Mpca compliance inspection out at the airport related to the fuel system. As far as I know, it went okay, but could have picked a warmer time to be out doing that, but we got through it. Looking at doing key card access up at the community center, we've talked about that for quite a while. So working with Midwest Security, and then we're also getting some quotes to do some of it up at the police station, so other law enforcement partners would have access to get into the back door in the intox room. So we have, I think, completed the cybersecurity assessment that we worked on with Missouri River Energy. Anyway, they gave us a report, so we're going to be working with CTCIT going through that. Obviously, cybersecurity is something that everybody needs to be concerned about, so I want to find out where we're at and what we can do to kind of build a better barrier, keep people out of our system, and avoid the headaches of that. And a reminder, tomorrow night, township fire contract meetings. We'll be doing them up here, 7 o'clock. And see how many show up. That's all I have, unless there's questions.
I'll move to adjourn.
A second.
Motion by Ron, second by Roy to adjourn. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.
Good night, Mary.